guys, I'm Eileen. Today, I want to talk about the best ways to stretch your shopping budget, especially if you're into designer pieces and luxury fashion. I personally think it's really important to respect our own budget and shop responsibly. Nowadays on social media, it might seem like a norm to see expensive unboxing and massive luxury hauls on a daily basis, but I really don't think that is applicable to many of us. So today I'm really excited to share with you the best ways to shop on a smaller budget and make the best of it. This video is kindly sponsored by ShopTagger, which is an app and Chrome extension that tells you the best sales, just so you don't miss out on a good bargain. And that brings us to our very first tip to shop on a smaller budget, which is to shop the sales. Essentially, you don't want to pay full price when you don't have to. I've said many times on my channel that I love buying designer shoes on sale, and I've bought brands like Roger Vivier, Jimmy Choo, Valentino, and so on. I feel like designer shoes depreciate in value really quickly, so I certainly want to buy them for cheaper whenever possible. That said, classic pieces do sell out very quickly, which is why I love using ShopTagger, just so I don't miss out on a good discount. And this is how it works. First of all, download the ShopTagger button on your Chrome extension before you start shopping. When you come across something you like, you can save the item using the ShopTagger button in the color and the size you like. When this item goes on sale, you will receive a notification on your phone or via email. As you can see, I've also grouped my items into different wish lists because I love keeping things organized. I highly recommend using ShopTagger on the Chrome extension because at checkout, ShopTagger will also search for coupon codes and automatically apply them to your purchase to save you even more money. For those of you who use PayPal for your online shopping, you can also now get cashback using ShopTagger. So I think it's fair to say this app will save you quite a lot of money. Now, I'll never ever suggest anyone to buy something just because it's on sale, but if you are going to make the purchase anyway, why not enjoy some savings just by buying the item at the right time? So if you're interested, make sure to download ShopTagger using the link down below. The second tip to shop on a smaller budget is to define your saves and splurges. Even though I have a soft spot for luxury items, I don't dress in designer labels from head to toe. So for example, my splurges are luxury handbags, designer shoes, and fine jewelry. But I don't routinely wear designer brand ready-to-wear, I don't buy designer costume jewelry, and I don't mind using drugstore skincare and body care products. Essentially, you want to identify the areas you are happy to splurge on and those you are not. I mean, I love a good luxury handbag, but I don't think all designer bags are worth my hard-earned money, especially pieces which are made with fairly low-cost materials. So for instance, I don't see myself ever buying a designer handbag made with PVC, even if it's Hermes or Chanel. I also would not spend £1,000 on a Prada clutch bag made with straw, but I'm quite happy to get a much cheaper option. For example, this Cartier clutch bag, which is equally as beautiful and as well made. In short, it's all about your priorities and what you are happy to pay for. Tip number 3 to shop on a smaller budget is the rule of one in, one out. This especially applies to those of you who already have a collection of beautiful things, or if you have quite a minimalist mindset. Essentially, you have to let go of something from your collection before adding anything new. This is something I've been trying to practice myself, especially for the bigger ticket items such as luxury handbags and fine jewelry. First of all, selling something from your collection will free up some cash, which means you don't need as big a budget to buy anything new. Secondly, doing this will also help to keep your collection a reasonable size, therefore the insurance cost will be cheaper. Last but not least, practicing the one in, one out rule will also help you appreciate what you already have. I find that when I have to consider letting something go from a collection, it often makes the new item look less appealing. Many times, it also reminds me that my collection is already near perfect and I don't need more. So as you can see, the rule of one in, one out can really work magic when you have a smaller budget to work with. The next tip to really stretch your budget for luxury shopping is to buy pre-loved. I've done a video before sharing the best luxury brands to buy pre-loved, so if you're interested, make sure to check it out. Now, certain luxury items do sell for higher than retail prices, such as limited Chanel handbags, the Hermes Birkin, Kelly and Constance bags, and some rare discontinued pieces. However, apart from those cases, many designer items are heavily discounted on the second-hand market. Dior, for example, makes some really beautiful handbags, but for some reason, they don't tend to keep their values very well. Then we have Celine, Bottega Veneta, Prada, and so on. So if you spend some time browsing, you could actually find pieces in excellent condition at a huge discount. Now, I am aware that finding the perfect pre-loved item can be time consuming, but you could also save a fortune, so make sure to keep your option open. Tip number 5 to shop with a smaller budget is to shop your own closet. Basically, it means using what you already have to put together a new look or a new outfit. Many of us use Instagram nowadays for inspiration. So instead of buying everything that's showcased by the blogger, try to use some creativity and make use of what you already have. For example, I feel like a Chanel mini flap has quite a similar aesthetic to the YSL Lou Mini crossbody bag. So do you actually need both? I feel like when you take the effort to really look through your closet, you might actually come up with new ideas. If there are pieces that you just can't work with after several attempts, it's probably time to declutter. So when you shop at your own closet, you are really killing two birds with one stone. So the next time you see a very fashionable blogger, try to borrow the idea and not the shopping list. Another tip to make the best of your small budget is to look for cheaper options on the basis that you're not compromising on quality. I'm someone who believes in paying more for better quality, but in the fashion world, more expensive doesn't always mean better. So I think it's sensible to compare both aspects when selecting your perfect pieces. For example, I've been really enjoying these ankle boots from Acne Studios, which I got at 30% off. So I've been considering to add another pair in the black textured leather, but they never seem to go on sale. So I've been looking at other options and I found these on the Evelyn website, which might just be the perfect alternatives. The design is really similar, but the heels are just a little bit taller. These boots are handmade in Italy, but they cost about half the price compared to the Acne Studio ones. So I think this is a prime example of how you can look good with a smaller budget. Another example is this Chanel Mini O case, which I use as a wallet, and I love it because it can carry all my cards and even some cash. But I found a really similar one on the Mulberry website for half the price. The size is really similar and the leather is their very classic Napa green leather. Now £150 is still quite a bit of money, but I think compared to the Chanel one, it's pretty good value for money. Last but not least, try to do a low buy challenge. And for those of you who are a bit more drastic, you could also try a no buy challenge. 2020 was a no buy year for me and it was a very refreshing experience. However, if you're quite new to the journey of mindful shopping, I think it's probably a good idea to try the low buy challenge first. It's a bit like when you're trying to lose weight. Eating a healthy diet on a daily basis always works better than starving yourself for the entire week because you know how it goes. You might just start binge eating when the challenge is over. Similarly, cultivating a healthy shopping habit is never about intensity but consistency. I feel like it's perfectly okay to reward ourselves once in a while, but maybe we could scale it down a bit. So for example, instead of buying a luxury handbag on every single special occasion, such as birthdays, Christmas, anniversaries, and so on, try to limit yourself to just one big purchase a year and maybe a few other smaller purchases, such as a scarf, a pair of shoes, or a pair of sunglasses. Doing the low buy challenge might feel like you're depriving yourself at first, but when you slow down, you're really just allowing yourself the time to enjoy what you already have fully instead of being obsessed with what's missing in your collection. More importantly, I feel like luxury shopping should really be seen as a novelty. So if you shop every other week, it will just become a routine and it just won't feel as special anymore. There you have it. Those are the tips to shop on a smaller budget. Now, if you've watched the video this far, you must have a soft spot for luxury items just like me. However, I also know most of us have bills to pay and real life responsibilities to take care of. So I just want to stress that it's perfectly okay to respect your own budget and have a small allocation for shopping. You might also have to be quite selective with what you buy, but that just really means you will only buy your perfect items, which is great if you're trying to build a curated luxury collection. For me, when I had that shift of mindset, it just made the whole mindful shopping thing a lot easier to do and truthfully quite enjoyable. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching and don't forget to share, like and subscribe. I will see you in my next one. Have a nice day.